and welcome to the Free Outside Show. It has not been a good month, so I feel like I've been let down by medical world, the personal friendship world, the local community, the federal community world. I mean, you've all seen the stuff about public lands online, but I have to move out of my apartment in a week, so that is pretty annoying and extremely stressful. There's some things going on medically in my life. Still full steam ahead. Tomorrow when this is released, I will be running Bighorn 100, so I'm doing good, but I haven't put a thing together. I haven't packed a single gel. I haven't grabbed a pack. I haven't picked out shoes, socks. Haven't done laundry. I've been gone for 3 weeks. It is probably the most stressful time. But I thought I would get into one thing today. I mean, I could go a bunch of different ways. I could talk about pacing Nick Fowler on his Pacific Crest Trail FKT. I could talk about Bighorn and a race plan coming up. We're going for the Appalachian Trail in a month. But I don't know. It just didn't really feel like any of those fit in when I'm on the verge of not having a home. Basically, my plan is I'm going to move everything into storage and attempt to keep this podcast going, probably from like the room at the local library or something, while traveling out to the Northeast to train a little bit and saving money by not paying rent because I don't have very much money. And an Appalachian Trail FKT that's going to be like 40 plus days long is going to require a lot. So it's scary, it's tricky, it's a little bit frustrating because none of this is super planned. I found out while I was out there helping Nick go for the FKT. But what I want to get into today is we all have a finite amount of miles. Maybe you want to think about it in terms of running or through hiking or whatever it may be. But I think it's just this concept that we forget about a lot because when we're in the midst of it, it's like, oh, I'm improving. I'm running so well. I'm through hiking. I'm going for my Triple Crown this year. I'm going to backpack this trail or whatever. But at some point you just don't have any more miles. Like you don't know when that's going to be. You don't know when you're not going to be running anymore, not going to be through hiking. And I'm not going to sit here to tell you that you need to spend them a certain way or you need to treat things a certain way, knowing that someday you're not going to be able to do the things that you love, or I'm not going to be able to run or backpack or camp or something. But I just think that it's really worth a friendly reminder that at some point everything's finite. One of my favorite sayings, and I say it a lot, much to my girlfriend's chagrin, is that you can only have one best. Maybe your best at the current moment won't be your best in 10 years because you'll overtake that best. But when you look back on your life, you're going to only have one time where it was your best, one day where it was your best, anything that was your best, because by definition, and it just really rattles my very unique brain when people use best for everything, because you can really only have one by the definition of best. And now on the heels of being out in California and seeing through hikers and Nick go after the FKT and a number of other people out there and being on the road and helping someone else, I want to just throw out this one thing that I think we should keep in mind interpersonally as we move forward with all the things that are happening in the world, in this society. And it comes from probably a bit of an unlikely source. And so I would really encourage everyone to go read Mike Versteeg's Colorado Trail FKT trip report. Now, he didn't get the FKT. He didn't get the fastest known time. And I think that makes it even more powerful. So the post is quite long. It's on the Satisfy Running Possessed platform, but you should just be able to look up Colorado Trail Mike Versteeg trip report, and it's not written by him, but it's about his crew. But then there's this really important and impactful Instagram post that goes with it that I wanted to bring up because I think there's a lot of learning here and it carries a lot of weight, and I think it's just resonated with me. So here we go. This is the Colorado Trail is, let's call it 500 miles long. It has probably 100,000 feet of gain. And it's very difficult, obviously. Average elevation is 10,500 feet. It's tough. And Mike Versteeg went after the record in a supported fashion. So here is what he wrote. 6.5 days, 397 miles, 77,000 feet of climbing. Failure. Today's world defines failure into veiled success in order to not face them and not learn from them. My biggest failure last week was putting friends through an awful, stressful, and damaging experience, all in order to pad my own ego and have my name on a website. It is a mistake I will not repeat. This is not an excuse. I was physically a mess and hadn't slept in days. When I got to the San Juans, I was so sleep deprived that the barren high country felt like a waking nightmare. Hip and back pain prevented me from catching anything but naps the last few days, and I was ruining the mountains that have been my sanctuary for the last 15 years. I stopped caring about records, about accomplishments, about running. I called it as much for my own sake as everyone else's. The fact that I was causing others to suffer while also suffering seamlessly. I need to read that again. That was bad. I called it as much for my own sake as everyone else's. The fact that I was causing others to suffer while also suffering seemed silly, and I quit. The weight was heavy, and I couldn't burden it. Running is a pure life awakening endeavor until it is not. Suffering can be enlightening until it is not. Putting others through negative experiences to build yourself up is never excusable. Here's to unsupported endeavors and not causing misery. All right, I thought that was just interesting and important to read in this society where everything is about being harder. And it kind of pairs nicely with my episode a week or so ago about the why. And I think it's so important. So we always talk about community and run clubs are blowing up, races, things like that, but it's not for personal gain. And I think that's kind of what we're losing, especially in this influencer culture, as we prop up somebody as who we want to take a picture with at a race because they have a number of followers, or I don't know, some influential person like that. But really the name of the game is we're propping everyone up, and it is additive. So everyone is gaining experience and growing closer, enjoying an experience or an endeavor, and it's not to put your name on a website. It's not to get a trophy. It's not anything like that. Of course, there is this sad four-letter word called work, and that translates into some aspects of racing and traveling for athletes, especially training. But I think that that really leaves out the fact that you don't have to put others through misery for no benefit other than your own pride or arrogance. And I think that I came across that when a friend brought it up, and I read the whole thing, saw the post at the end, and thought it was a really cool and interesting thing to share, and will be something that I'm thinking about a lot as my why and why I'm going after the Appalachian Trail record in early August. And when I think about it and apply it personally, here's kind of what I think. There was a moment in Cocodona, so I had COVID and it was pretty awful. I felt like I was going to die about 60 miles in, but I kept going. I checked in with the crew, and there was a point that I just had to let go and embrace that it could still be fun. Even if it wasn't going to hit my expectations, it was supposed to be fun, and I didn't have to lose the fun because my expectations were gone. I got to dance with the crew and the pacers. I got to embrace it, and that doesn't mean there wasn't disappointment lurking in the back of my mind and I wasn't feeling like I wasn't accomplishing something, but I didn't let that dictate how I was portraying and acting towards others, because they were there to have fun. Really, they didn't care about my personal accomplishments. Like, they wanted to help me do the best I could, but they were out there because it was going to be fun, rewarding, and impactful use of their time. And my job was to continue to make it that way. Even if something came up that made it different than the initial expectations, the job isn't to force misery on others for your own personal gain. And so I think that it's just really powerful way to see that, and just to think about like what the cost of everything is. And on the flip side of that, there doesn't have to be a cost. These shared experiences and pushing through things, supporting others, volunteering, whether it's trail work, race organizations volunteering out there, pacing, crewing, helping people achieve their goals. That can be incredibly rewarding, but it's got to be for the right reasons. So I have Bighorn 100 tomorrow. By the time that I have this processed and uploaded, I will have 3 hours to pack and look at the course map, the aid station chart, and everything. I've been home like 2 days. I'm feeling right on the verge of incredibly depressed with how stressed I am and having to pack and move and everything and go after this record. And I just know that if I'm not in a good spot in my heart and how I'm feeling when going after an FKT, it's not going to go well. And my therapist is taking a break for the summer. So I have a lot of internal work to do. I have to figure out finances. I have to figure out where I'm living, training, how everything is going. But within all that stress, there's also the excitement of adventure. I didn't have a home from 2018 until early 2020. I didn't have a car that whole period. I didn't really know how I was going to make life work. But in that time, I was able to write a book. I was able to get a bunch of FKTs, make a movie, things like that. So I think in the greatest unknown is the greatest ability to be creative and create things and make whatever it is you want to make. So I think it was a bit of a ramble episode, but I feel that the line and the article, Colorado Trail FKT report of Mike Versteeg, is pretty powerful. So check that out and think about when you go into your own adventures, what you're putting your friends through, what you're putting people through, what you're experiencing, and what you're getting out of it. And is it all worth it? Because it should be. Because if it's not, there's a lot of other things you could do. All right, another short episode because I'm stressed and I need to pack not only for a 100-miler, but like my whole apartment to move. So wish me luck, wish me lower stress, and hopefully we can weather all these storms together. Please like and subscribe and support our sponsors, John G, Garage Grown Gear, and CS Coffee. All good stuff. I talk about them a lot in other episodes. I'm getting most of my FKT gear from Garage Grown Gear, and I'll be wearing John G out there and sipping on CS Coffee right now. All right, stay elite, my friends.